I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again. But life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running to better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times. Remember I was laughing in all the photos that you took, but now it looks like acting, like we were fiction in a book. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running into better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running into better times.
Hello, welcome to day 3. I am so excited to see you all here. Okay, show me that you're here by commenting with your drink of choice of an evening, whether that is tea, water, wine, bourbon, I don't care, whatever it is, comment it of your drink of choice of an evening. Hi, Robin. Totally fine. No, you don't have to watch me. There's nothing special happening here. You can just listen. All is well. Normally when I go live, Crystal Light, do you have a specific flavor? What's the flavor that you go to? Normally when I go live, I am double fisting. Tonight, however, I am triple fisting. Okay. I have the last sip of my protein shake. I just got back from the gym, and then my ice water and my Diet Coke. Okay, while we're all here, let's have story time about my gym experience earlier. I went to the gym and I love lifting. Weightlifting is like my favorite hobby right now. And there was a gentleman, I don't think I should even refer to him as a gentleman, a man, a boy, whatever we want to refer to him as, that would not stop hitting on me, like aggressively hitting on me and making comments, and did not stop until I held up my hand to him and said, I'm married to a woman. How grateful am I that I am married to a cishet man that is not gross. That's the story time for tonight. So don't be that person. Don't be that person. If I'm lifting at the gym, I'm not there to talk to you. That's not why I'm at the gym, personally. If you are, if that's a social space for you, by all means, go for it. So I hope that everyone is doing well on this Wednesday night. Clearly struggling. Tonight, we are diving into the impact of talking to our kids about sex, what all that means, what that impact is, and going deep into that, okay? I have been getting several DMs with questions, and I'm so excited to answer those questions. So if you have not yet done so, feel free to post comments that are a question, or to share them in the DM, share them in the group chat. There's never an obligation to share things publicly, all right? Consent, safety, boundaries, all of that is super important to me. So if you do not feel comfortable publicly asking your question, That is totally okay. You are more than welcome to private message me and make that stay an anonymous question, however you choose, okay? All about safety. But I'm getting my list compiled of what questions to answer on Monday for hot seat coaching. So I'm really, really excited for that. So if this is your first night, I know that we still had new people joining the group today. So if this is your first night participating in this workshop, welcome. Hello, I am Liz Martin. I am a sex positive parenting coach, the founder of Empower the Talk, a certified doula, and a certified sex educator. I've been in this field for 8 years of social work and transitioned to the sexual health field about 4 years ago. But this week, I'm empowering you to have those tough conversations, both with yourself and with any children living in your home. I'm going to give you the education that you need to do it confidently. Okay. You will leave this workshop if you are participating in the videos, if you are participating in the homework, you will leave with more confidence than you started with. Okay. That's my guarantee to you. All right. And I know I say this every single night, but I want to say it again because it's really, really important, because I know that a lot of things can come up when we're talking about sexual health that can be incredibly triggering. Okay. So the topics we'll be discussing could bring up feelings of discomfort, could be triggering to you, especially if you are someone that has had any form of sexual trauma. Okay. Be mindful of where you're at. Take care of yourself. Protect you. Protect your heart. Protect your soul. Make sure you're mindful of what emotions are coming up for you. If you need support, my DMs are always open, and you are more than welcome to reach out to me if I am somebody that feels safe to you, if you feel a level of connection there. If you are seeking a licensed therapist, let me know. I am more than happy to give you referrals to a licensed therapist in your area. Okay. That is all something that I can support with, but I want you ultimately to have somebody that you can talk to that is both a professional and educated, but also somebody that you connect with and feel safe with. And if that's not me, that's okay. All right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to absorb this content, but protect yourself. Protect yourself. Okay. All right. Tonight, we are going to be going over the impact of abstinence-only education, why comprehensive sex education is the safest option, the guidelines for starting the talk, and then an awareness of red flags of abuse when having the talk. Okay. I will fully agree that it is easier to avoid this conversation altogether for the adults involved. But the outcomes of avoiding is our children going into situations with no knowledge on keeping themselves safe. I want to put a little disclaimer in here again, really quick. This is focused on the impact of talking to our kids about sex, but there are so many of you that never received that conversation as a kid, and I want you to hear this as a way to reparent yourself, as a way to re-educate yourself. So if you are not somebody that has children in your home or cares for children in any capacity, I want you to hear this information as a way to reparent yourself and a way to re-educate yourself on this conversation, okay? This conversation is for all bodies present in this workshop, whether you are a parent or not, okay? So when we avoid this conversation, when we just say, it's too uncomfy, it makes me feel awkward, I can't do it, we are literally setting our children up for situations in which they have no knowledge and no ability to keep themselves safe. A lot of the times these conversations, we get stuck in this space of there is no perfect solution. There is no perfect response. Having conversations about keeping our children safe in relationships and in pleasure means giving them some control about their bodies. Up to this point, we as parents have made a lot of decisions for our children in regards to their safety. But now we are setting them up with the knowledge that they need to make safe choices for their own bodies. It is valid to be a little uncomfortable with that shift. Okay, so we're going to dive into what that looks like. The impact of abstinence-only education. A rigorous, multi-year scientific evaluation authorized by Congress presents evidence that abstinence-only until marriage programs don't work. Don't work. The study, which looked at 4 federally funded programs and studied many, many students, found that abstinence-only program participants were just as likely to have sex before marriage as teens who did not participate. There was no difference. There was no benefit that was gained by them participating in an abstinence-only until marriage program. Furthermore, participants that had first intercourse at the same mean age and same number of sexual partners as teens who did not participate. There was literally no difference. They were having sex at the same time and at the same frequency as those that did not participate. Okay? A review of program evaluations in 11 different states indicates that after participating in abstinence-only marriage programs, teens were less willing to use contraception, including condoms. And in only one state did any program demonstrate any level of success in delaying the initiation of sex. Some abstinence-only until marriage programs include virginity pledges, where teens sign a card to remain a virgin until they are married. Maybe you grew up in a faith tradition where it was very much a purity culture and there was a purity pact that was created, or a purity ring that was involved, or the whole demonstration of if you have sex, it's like chewed bubblegum or ripping petals off of your rose. While data suggests that under limited circumstances, teens who sign a pledge may delay intercourse, 88% of them still have sex before marriage. 88%. Research shows that pledgers' rate of STIs does not differ from the rate of non-pledgers, and that pledgers are less likely to use condoms at their first sign of intercourse and to be tested for STIs than those that did not take a pledge. The evidence is clear. The evidence is clear. More than 80% of abstinence-only until marriage curricula reviewed contained false, misleading, or distorted information about reproductive health.
I don't know what you mean by.
My watch was listening to all of that. The curriculum reviewed misrepresented the effectiveness of contraceptives in preventing STIs and unintended pregnancy. They also contain false information about the risks of abortion, blur religion and science, promote gender stereotypes, and contain basic scientific errors. I want to be really, really clear here that I am in no way speaking down to any religious practice. But I know that every parent in this space wants more than anything else for their children to grow up happy, healthy, and safe. Every bit of evidence shows that abstinence-only education does not support that outcome. You are allowed to practice faith, spirituality, and religion in whatever way is right for you and your family. Abstinence-only education does not support that outcome of growing happy, healthy, and safe children. So then what's the alternative? What do we look at as the alternative? The alternative is comprehensive sex education. So I want to kind of define what comprehensive sex education is, because maybe you've never heard this term. Maybe you have just heard sex education, but what is different about comprehensive sex education, and why is it the safer practice to engage in? So things to think about with comprehensive sex education is that it offers age and culturally appropriate sexual health information in a safe environment for participants. So it's specific to their age and culture. That's a big, big difference in the language and the conversation that is taking place. It is developed in cooperation with members of the target community, especially young people. It's not a preach at you situation, it's a collaborative experience. It assists youth to clarify their individual, family, and community values. It assists youth to develop skills in communication, refusal, and negotiation. It provides medically accurate information about both abstinence and also contraception, including condoms. 61% of sex education taught in school systems is medically inaccurate. Not even just that it's abstinence-only education, but that it is medically inaccurate. The science backing of it is medically inaccurate. It provides clear goals for preventing HIV and other STIs and or teen pregnancy. It focuses on specific health behaviors related to the goals with clear messages about these behaviors. It addresses psychosocial risk and protective factors with activities to change each targeted risk and promote each protective factor. It respects community values and responds to community needs. It relies on participatory teaching methods implemented by trained educators and using the activities as designed. Did you know that most health teachers or most individuals teaching sex education at a school are not certified sex educators? They're not trained to teach sex education. It is infuriating. Yes, that is what I feel every time that I look at these statistics. Infuriated, okay? Research has identified highly effective sex education and HIV prevention programs that affect multiple behaviors and achieve positive health outcomes. Behavioral outcomes from comprehensive sex education include delaying the initiation of sex, as well as reducing the frequency of sex for those young people, the number of new partners that they have, and the incidence of unprotected sex. It also increases the use of condoms or other contraception among sexually active participants. Comprehensive sex education does that. It has the outcomes that we want to keep our children safe. Long-term impacts even include lower rates of STIs and pregnancy rates. Also, it is important to note, no highly effective sex education or HIV prevention education program is eligible for federal funding because it mandates prohibit education for youth about the benefits of condoms and contraceptives. There's no federal funding for comprehensive sex education because it is stated that it cannot promote the benefits of condoms and contraceptives. US government has spent over $1 billion supporting abstinence-only until marriage education. Although the US government ignores that adolescents have a fundamental human right to accurate and comprehensive sexual health information. $1 billion is spent on abstinence-only until marriage sex education. So where does that leave us? At Empower the Talk, one of our core beliefs is that parents are their child's first sex educator. It is clear with the evidence that I have shared that the sex ed class at school is not effective. I want to share with you what those actual core beliefs are at Empower the Talk so that you know where I stand. Every person is entitled to feel confident in their sexuality. Mothers are allowed to build safe and loving homes without denying who they are as a sexual being. Parents have the power to heal generational trauma through having open and informed conversations with their children. Women's voices matter, especially when talking about sexual health, and that parents are their child's first sex educator. So what does it look like to have the talk? Evidence shows us that when there are open lines of communication between parents and children, the children are safer. I want to put this little disclaimer that I use the language of the talk because a lot of us have that framing in our head of having the talk with our children. It's where my business name came from. Empowering you to have the talk. Empower the talk. And I hate to break it to you, but it will never just be one talk, ever. It will never be broken down to one single talk that you have with your children, ever. Please don't let it ever be just one talk. One of the primary ways that you can create these open lines of communication is through becoming an askable parent. Show respect, value, and love for their ideas. Be somebody that it's safe for them to share their values and ideas with you. Realize every difficult situation is not a crisis. This is especially important for those of us that are a very anxious being, okay? Sit with it, let yourself feel it, but that every difficult situation is not in fact a crisis. Try to create openness with your body language when communicating about tough subjects. Coach a kid to position themselves so that they are not pinned into a chair or cornered during a tough conversation, but instead within an open space. I think sometimes we want to make sure the conversation happens and we want to make sure that we can get all of our words out. So we get in the car with them because they can't leave then, right? Or they are sitting in their room and they're off to the corner and you are the one sitting in front of the door. You're blocking the only exit to the room. Be approachable. Create openness with your body language. Get consent to have a conversation with them. Do you ever ask your child's consent? It makes it safe for them to revoke consent if you not only ask, but also respect their decision. Know that the most important part of this communication is for you to be listening. We have so many words that we want to say, so many things that we want to tell them. But your role in being an askable parent is that you are listening. I use the phrasing with my children, are your ears turned on? Ask yourself that. Are your ears turned on? Are they tuned in to the words that are being said? To the body language that's happening in front of you? Not just planning the next thing that you want to say to them, but being really tuned into what they're saying. This is a big one, especially when our kids are younger. I think this happens more frequently than when they are older, but don't laugh when they ask a question, even in reaction to their cuteness. That is breeding grounds for creating shame around that question. It may be the cutest way that they've ever said it, especially for young kids. Don't laugh about it. You want them to feel safe, to keep coming back with questions, and to be an askable parent. Allow them to ask questions without ingraining shame and guilt into it. Don't laugh when they ask a question that you deem maybe humorous. Don't expect to be perfect. Admitting mistakes is valuable modeling to them. As far as I know, many of you participating in this workshop are not certified sex educators. Don't expect yourself to be, okay? Don't expect that you will have an answer to every single question. It is always safe to say to your child, I don't actually know the answer to that. I'm going to look that up and get that back to you. I'll come back and revisit this conversation with you after I've done some good research on it. It's always safe to say that. Acknowledge your own discomfort or embarrassment with a topic or situation. It's okay to tell them that this is how you're feeling and to show them how to deal with those emotions. We will all be in conversations where we are uncomfortable. The conversation of me being at the gym with a man that was hitting on me, that was freaking uncomfortable for me, right? It's okay to model to our kids how we respond to discomfort. And it's okay to admit that we're feeling uncomfortable with this conversation or that we feel a level of embarrassment. And it's okay to say, my mom never had this talk with me. My dad never had this talk with me. And so I'm in this with you. I'm learning how to do this with you. And I might make some mistakes, but I can promise you that I will always check back in on the research and I'll always come back to support and listen. Listen. Get education on the topics that you're discussing with them. Most parents didn't have a super healthy talk themselves that your parents gave. Most of the people in my space have shared that they did not ever have a great talk with their parent or caregiver. You may be the exception to that. And that is wonderful if you come from a space that you had a really healthy conversation around sex. I know that many of you did not. It's up to you to gain that education, to be able to support and listen to your child well. And that's why you're here. If you're a parent and you chose to participate in this workshop, you know that this education is important and you saw value in learning this education. As these conversations continue, I know that our brains can often go to like, oh, what's a red flag in this? At what point should I be concerned about what they're saying or what they're asking or what they're doing? I want to give you some flags to be aware of, okay? Sometimes I have parents that are really concerned on that other end of the spectrum that sex is being talked about too much. They have a concern of abuse, so they question whether their child is being abused. And oftentimes there are signs that come up, and it can be displayed in various ways, but here's a few indicators based on age, what that could look like. So if we're looking at birth to age 4, that age group, things that could be red flags, shows an awareness or knowledge of specific sex acts or sexual language, for example, oral sex, anal sex, things of that nature. Initiates or participates in adult-like sexual contact with others. Forces others to engage in sexual play. Sexualized play using dolls or toys. Inserting objects into genitalia openings. All of those in the context of not responding to redirection. Okay, we're going to talk about masturbation tomorrow night, and I'm going to continue that conversation, but does not respond to redirection is a key piece of that, and is secretive about the above behaviors. For ages 5 to 8, again, showing awareness or knowledge of specific sexual acts or sexual language like oral or anal sex, initiates or participates in adult-like sexual contact with others, sexualized play using dolls or toys, behaves sexually in public, or via technology, so like phone, computer, video games, social media, those kinds of things, and is secretive about the behaviors and does not respond to redirection. For ages 9 to 12, again, participating in adult-like sexual contact with others. Masturbation frequency that interrupts commitments or daily responsibilities. We're going to dive in more to masturbation tomorrow night, but frequency that interrupts commitments or daily responsibilities. Forces others to engage in sexual experimentation or sexting. Expresses or displays disregard for other bodies or boundaries. Accessing pornography and being secretive about it. Behaving sexually in public or via technology. And then when we look at the teens, sexual interest in younger children. Forces or coerces others to engage in sex, relationships, sexual experimentation, sexting, or sharing of sexual images. Masturbating frequency that again interrupts commitments or daily responsibilities. Is secretive about these behaviors. So a lot of these are very similar. A lot of the red flags are very similar. So what do you do when you see some of these behaviors? Because I guarantee that there's at least one person watching this that is having this moment of like, oh my God, this is happening in my home. First off, I want you to breathe. Sexual behaviors in childhood can be really triggering for many adults, especially if you yourself are a survivor of childhood sexual abuse or trauma. The more calm and less reactive, the better you're able to respond effectively. Talk with your child about the behavior. Create a space that's safe for them to share their feelings and experience without fear of judgment or punishment. Listen to understand, no matter their age. Children are learning and developing skills for safe decision making. Treat the behavior as a teachable moment and an opportunity to mentor and guide through that. Normalize their curiosities. Sexual behaviors can stem from a desire to gain access to information or experience related to bodies or sex. It is okay to be curious. Hear that again. It is okay to be curious. This is an opportunity to direct them in safe ways to gain that knowledge, in safe ways to get the answers that they're seeking. It is okay to be curious. We should be curious about our bodies. We shouldn't lose that curiosity. Establish clear expectations and agreements that provide the child or children involved with a clear, safer alternative and path for support. Check for understanding in the conversation and be available for questions as they may arise. Because they're probably going to need time to sit with the information that they've just been given and revisit that as it comes up. Use resources like books, videos, educational podcasts, or activities that engage their curiosities and reinforce the message you want them to learn. My virtual course is a great option for that. If there is a concern for a child's safety, or if there is a disclosure of abuse that has occurred, contact your local authorities, child protection agency, or a trained provider to support you in the next steps. You never have to go on this journey alone. Connect yourself with a trusted space, a trusted friend, a trusted support system to process your own feelings. Your child is not the person to process those feelings with. Get outside support to process those feelings. Support that can help you stay clear about the steps you're taking and for you to know that you're not alone. Prevention and education are key. Hear that again. Prevention and education are key. When we educate ourselves and give that to our kids, they live safer and more satisfying lives. That is the bottom line of it. I know that each of the parents in here want that for your children. You want them to live safer and more satisfying lives. I know that I talk about these topics with what may seem to some as ease. Please know that you are not expected to be perfect at any of these conversations. This is something that I have had over 20,000 hours of practice with during my time in the field of social work, through coaching clients in these tough conversations for both themselves and supporting their children, with multiple certifications, multiple courses that I've been through. This is something that I've become an expert in. You are not expected to carry that same level of expertise, but gaining knowledge is the key to prevention. So tonight, I am choosing to open the doors to my signature 6-month coaching program and my virtual course for parents. These doors have not been open since April, and I'm really excited for them because I know the power that comes from these spaces. My signature programs are designed to help individuals heal their story around sex. Inside my one-on-one coaching program, you get 6 months of deep healing work to rewrite that narrative. Pleasure is your birthright. You get to experience pleasure. You get to advocate for your pleasure. When you walk out of those 6 months, you will have a better understanding of what pleasure means to you. You will know how to advocate for your own pleasure, how to communicate with current or future partners your needs, wants, and desires, how to determine the best products for you that support and enhance your pleasure, an opportunity for you to heal from sexual trauma, and ultimately to write a narrative that serves you well. Inside of Empower the Talk Academy, you will have the opportunity to receive a weekly 30-minute coaching call that goes deep into your personal healing. One-on-one, individualized support focused on the topics that you want to heal. There's no sifting through extra content that doesn't apply to you. It is solely focused on you and your journey in those weekly 30-minute coaching calls. You will also gain unlimited Voxer access. This is a way to have constant access to me. It is a messaging app that we can voice message, we can type out, constant access. I will always reply to those messages within 24 business hours. So when things come up with your partner that you feel triggered by, I'm there to support you through that. As you work through past trauma and you need to talk it out, I'm there with you. As you practice implementing pleasure into your life, but you need check-ins to create this new habit, I'm there. Dixie is one of my current clients, and I'm so grateful that she is participating in this workshop. Thank you so, so much for being here. Inside of Empower the Talk Academy, you'll also get an Empower the Talk welcome box. That includes a journal and workbook for you to go through as you're on this journey, educational resources and products to focus on your pleasure and what pleasure means to you. You're going to make me cry, Dixie. This program has helped me to figure out so much, and Liz is fully attentive. And when she says she is there for you, she is. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Okay. Because of the high level of deep connective relationship and intimate work, ultimately, that we do inside of the academy, I am only able to take on 5 new clients because I know how much energy I want to pour into this and how much I want to be able to support you in this rewrite and this journey. So I'm only able to take on 5 new clients. If you were to look at the value of this program, those 4 30-minute coaching calls come out to $588. That's what I would charge for 4 30-minute coaching calls. A month of Voxer access is valued at $297. And that welcome box is $197 of product for you to be supported in your journey. The value of this program is over $1,000 per month. But for participating in this workshop and showing up in this way, that you see that education matters, and it is such a necessity to write a story around sexual health and pleasure that serves you well, I am offering Empower the Talk Academy at $489 a month. That is over 50% off of the value that it would be. There are pay in full discounts available along with scholarship opportunities. I want this to be accessible for you. If you would like to look at scholarships, reach out to me. Do not disqualify yourself because of the price. There is support available due to generous donors who support this work so wholeheartedly that I have scholarships available for you to participate in this space. I highly encourage you to get on a strategy call with me so we can see what fits best for you. Please note, though, that this pricing will not last. The price will be increasing for that monthly fee to $569 on January 15th. January 15th. If you decide to join us inside of Empower the Talk Academy between now and in January 15th, you are going to get a free ticket to my 2023 retreat. There's more details to come on that because I'm fucking stoked for it. You'll get a free ticket to participate in the 2023 retreat. For those of you that are parents, though, you know you need education to truly become an askable parent. My virtual course is set up for you to absorb all of that content, for you to live in confidently to being an askable parent. I am freaking stoked for this because it's the first time that I am launching this ever. A fully virtual, work at your own pace course that allows you to leave with confidence and that you have the ability to be your child's first sex educator. Inside of Building Sex Positive Homes, you will receive unlimited access to my app where you get to go through the content in the time frame that works for you. Topics that are covered inside of that virtual course are, but not limited to, consent, bodily autonomy, social emotional connection, anatomy, penis and vagina sex, oral, anal, vagina and vagina, penis and penis sex, puberty and periods, STIs and barrier methods, relationships, both romantic and peer, pornography, social media, sexting, kink and BDSM, pregnancy, birthing, breastfeeding conversations, gender, sexual orientation, and sexuality. It is all in there. every topic that you could need to be a confident parent showing up in these conversations with your child as their first sex educator is there. You get to work through all of this on the go and are easily accessible through my app. Explore the content with a partner or use it as a support when you're talking to your children. Have it there as that crutch that you need when these conversations get really sticky. This course is over $3,000 of content. But my app publishers cannot have it released until January 15th. So for all of you that are participating in this workshop, I am choosing to offer that at intro pricing up until that app releases of $99 a month. $3,000 worth of education for $99 a month. I encourage you to get on a strategy call with me so that you can see if this is the right fit for your family and the right educational resource for your family. As soon as that app launches on January 15th, on that first day of launch, the price is being increased to $149 a month. It is in your benefit to begin and start at that intro pricing. And if you choose to jump on intro pricing, you will also gain access to unlimited Voxer support. Again, that's constant access to me where I reply every time within 24 business hours. So when your child gets off the bus crying because something that happened at school or something that was said to them, you have me right there with you. When your child gets in their first serious relationship, I'm there to support you through that. I'm that person that can be a support system for you as those emotions come up and those sticky feelings come up for you. When they're asking questions about bodies that you are not sure how to properly respond to, I'm there. When you suspect that something isn't quite right, but you aren't sure of the signs, I'm there. You deserve to live a life where you believe that pleasure is your birthright. You deserve the space to become a sex-positive parent. Prevention and education are key. And these signature programs give you access to truly become confident in that. Ultimately, I have a service for you no matter what your budget is. If you have things that you are ready to begin rewriting, healing, working through, schedule a strategy call with me so that we can see if we're a good fit. I will not be the right person for you if we do not connect. I'm happy to refer you on. You have to feel safe with me in order for this to be a mutual relationship where you gain confidence and education. This strategy call is an opportunity for you to decide if I'm the right person for you to work with. I'll be posting the link for that so that you can get on the schedule for strategy calls. I have thrown so much at you tonight. Let's go over what we've talked about. The impact of abstinence-only education and how it does only harm with no support to positive outcomes. Why comprehensive sex education is the safest option and what comprehensive sex education is. Guidelines for starting to have the talk. And then an awareness of red flags of abuse when you're having the talk. These signature programs are designed to support you through every step of the process. I do want to make sure that I announce our giveaway winner before I hop off for tonight. Thank you for investing so much energy into this workshop. Seeing each of you show up each night fills me up in ways that I cannot even express. Thank you for putting energy into participating, for putting energy into doing the homework, for really taking in this content. Our winner for tonight's giveaway is Holly Payton. You are winning a free 45-minute coaching call with me. And I'm so excited to get to work with you and dive in that coaching call. Feel free to message me as soon as this live is done, and we will get that scheduled on a date and time that works best for you. Congratulations, Holly. Tomorrow, we will be starting the conversation on how to normalize conversations on masturbation. Thank you for spending this hour with me, and I cannot wait to see you all tomorrow night. As soon as this live ends, be sure to go straight to the action step, continue participating, continue putting in the work to get the most out of this week. Feel free to message me as questions come up. Feel free to post in the chat, post in the group, whatever feels safest for you. Investing this hour each day of the workshop can truly, completely rewrite the story in your home around sex. And I'm so excited to see you all tomorrow night. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye, everyone.